Hello! Shoyan here. I'm a carpenter based in Japan. Today, I'm insulating the walls and attic. Today, I will show you the insulation work on the walls and roof. We installed 50mm thick pneumofoam under the plywood floor underlay last time. This time, I am using glass wool to insulate the walls and roof. The wall columns are 120mm thick, so I use the same glass wool thickness. The roof rafters are 105mm thick, so I'm going to use 105mm thick glass wool laid in the same direction as the rafters. I'll then lay another layer of insulation under it. Putting it in words is difficult, but I will explain later. First, I cut the insulation for the wall. The wall insulation is 120mm, which is thick. I thought it would be difficult to cut, but I found a special cutting tool for insulation. I recently learned about this tool, which is similar to a large bread knife. As with cutting bread, you cut several times instead of cutting in one go. I was amazed when I first used it. It surprised me that such thin glass lumps could be easily cut. It is a useful tool. The price was about 2,000 yen. Now, I am installing the insulation between the columns. I cut the insulation roughly 4 cm longer than the location. Though the insulation is 120mm thick, its actual measurement is about 130mm thick when swelled and not pressed. When pressure is applied, it will flatten out to about 40 to 50mm. It'll be about 120 to 130mm thick when fitted between the columns. I cut the air barrier membrane for the gable end section. Regardless of the size, I cut the insulation 3 cm to 4 cm longer than the location. The insulation will wrinkle if it's too long, which isn't good. A little tight is the appropriate measurement. I draw a slope line on the plywood below to guide me when cutting the insulation diagonally for the triangle section. You only have to measure the length and can cut it easily. The mendo above the girder is bound to have gaps, so I seal the area with urethane foam to improve airtightness and insulation. After the walls are filled with glass wool, I cover them with an air barrier membrane. This was hard to handle. It is difficult to install the air barrier membrane in a long shape, so I cut it in the longer lengths than required, so there will be offcuts. It's the first time I've touched this air barrier membrane. The material is thick and elastic. It is sturdy. I installed the air barrier membrane, the first time I've ever done this. I start from the small triangle section. It's tricky because the section is a triangle, the membrane is soft, and there is insulation. Later, I will tape around the timber and the stapled area. The moment I secured the air barrier membrane, I knew it would take some getting used to. As I mentioned, I tape around the timber, which is the edge of the air barrier membrane, the area where I stapled, and also the 90 centimeters area above and below. The tape on the timber will prevent air entering from outside. I haven't taped the top of the triangle section yet, because 200mm glass wool insulation will be installed downward from the roof later. The insulation will overlap there, so our work in this area will insulating the roof. This construction aims to prevent outside air from getting inside the house by using an air barrier membrane and tape. I'm working on the square section now. The first section was on the tricky small triangle one, so the square section feels much easier. After taping the walls, they look very fancy. This completes the wall insulation and air sealing. Next, I install the glass wool between the roof rafters. The rafters are 105mm thick. The same thickness of insulation is available for this size of timber. The insulation cannot be installed above the purlins, so I cut them shorter first. Unfortunately, unlike the walls, it must be installed upward. This may not be a problem in winter, but it's tough work for summer. My body is pricky and itchy. Well, it's just a matter of wearing long sleeves. My son is close by. He's struggling, saying, "Itchy, itchy." But I don't feel itchy as much. Maybe I am feeling less itchy as I get older. It's a bit disheartening. I have finished the first layer of insulation between the rafters. Now I'm installing 45mm studs at a right angle under them. This way, the studs will remain at the same spacing as the rafter. Then I put another layer of insulation between them. In total, 210mm of insulation is used. It is very thick. I can't install it all at once, but I can do it by separating the installation twice. This is the trickiest part of this construction. I'm installing the air barrier membrane upward. This was such a tricky task. Really, it could have been done better by a decorator, because they are used to wallpapering. With only my carpentry skills, I couldn't install this soft membrane perfectly. I need to improve my skills. I attached the airtight tape to the ceiling, as well as the walls. An airtightness test was conducted the day after installation. I'm not sure what the appropriate number is, but this test resulted in 0.4. The entrance uses a frame for a ceiling-mounted sliding door. The inspector explained that a ceiling-mounted sliding door could differ by about 0.1 from a one-panel door. As for 0.4, he said it was a very good result with a sliding door. It would be a problem for the owner if the air was leaking heavily, so I was relieved there was no problem. I have finished insulating the wall and roof. Installing the membrane was harder than laying the insulation. I'm sure this will work well. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.